My name is Harper Davidson. I'm 31 years old, and I had just spent the past decade building a successful career as a wedding videographer, filming over 200 ceremonies, including several celebrity weddings that had established my reputation as one of the most sought-after cinematographers in the luxury wedding industry. What I never imagined was sitting in my childhood living room, listening to my mother Linda casually tell me, "Skip your sister's wedding. You'll make it awkward," because my introverted personality and preference for authentic moments over performative social media content didn't fit the carefully curated aesthetic that my sister Brittany needed for her influencer wedding and Instagram brand. What made this rejection infinitely more devastating was realizing that my own family found me so embarrassing that they would rather I miss my sister's wedding entirely than risk me appearing in the background of their perfectly staged photos and videos, despite the fact that I had literally built my career creating the kind of wedding content they were desperately trying to achieve. What my family didn't know was that their decision to exclude me for being awkward had just motivated me to create my own wedding video that would showcase what genuine emotion and professional cinematography actually look like, producing content so stunning and authentic that it would completely overshadow Brittany's carefully staged influencer wedding and prove that real moments always triumph over manufactured performances. The wedding videography career that had established my professional reputation, but apparently wasn't impressive enough for my family to value my presence at Brittany's wedding, had begun 10 years earlier, when I discovered that my love of storytelling and visual composition could be combined with my fascination with capturing authentic human emotions during one of life's most significant celebrations. My path into wedding videography had been somewhat unconventional, starting with film school, where I had focused on documentary filmmaking and cinematic techniques that emphasized capturing genuine moments, rather than staged performances that characterized traditional wedding videos of that era. Documentary filmmaking teaches you to anticipate emotional moments and capture them authentically, my film professor Marcus Webb had explained during a class on observational cinematography. And those skills translate perfectly to wedding videography if you approach ceremonies as real stories, rather than just pretty footage. The intersection of documentary authenticity and cinematic beauty had become my signature style, creating wedding videos that felt like intimate films, rather than generic highlight reels that simply showed ceremony sequences without conveying the emotional depth of the celebration. My early career work had involved filming smaller weddings while building my portfolio and developing the technical skills and editorial instincts that would eventually attract higher-end clients seeking videographers who could create artistic content rather than just documenting events. Harper's videos feel like you're experiencing the wedding as an intimate guest, one early client had written in a review. She captures moments that even the couple didn't realize were happening, creating a narrative that reveals the genuine emotion and beauty of the day. The ability to anticipate and capture authentic moments had distinguished my work from traditional wedding videographers who focused primarily on formal poses and ceremony logistics without understanding how to construct emotional narratives through visual storytelling. My breakthrough into luxury wedding videography had come when a bride whose sister I had filmed recommended me to her friend, who was planning a high-profile wedding with celebrity guests and substantial budget for documentation that would match the elaborate nature of the celebration. "We want someone who can create cinematic content that captures the artistry of our wedding design, while also showing the genuine emotions and intimate moments," the bride had explained during our initial consultation. "Your portfolio shows exactly that combination of technical excellence and emotional storytelling." The luxury wedding had been my first experience working with extensive budgets, elaborate venues, celebrity guests, and the pressure of creating content that would be scrutinized by audiences accustomed to high production values and sophisticated visual storytelling. Harper delivered a wedding video that exceeded every expectation, the bride had written after receiving the final film. The cinematography was stunning, the emotional narrative was powerful, and she captured moments we didn't even know happened during our celebration. The glowing review and the sharing of my work within her social circles had generated referrals to other high-profile clients, gradually building my reputation within the luxury wedding industry as a cinematographer who could deliver both technical excellence and emotional authenticity. Over the following decade, I had filmed weddings for technology entrepreneurs, entertainment industry professionals, professional athletes, and influencers whose ceremonies required videographers capable of creating content that matched their sophisticated aesthetic expectations while maintaining the authentic storytelling that made wedding films meaningful. Harper Davidson is the wedding videographer that other videographers study to improve their own work. A wedding industry publication had written in a profile about my career. Her ability to combine cinematic technique with documentary authenticity has established her as one of the most sought-after wedding cinematographers in the luxury market. The professional recognition and substantial income my videography career generated had created financial independence and industry respect that represented years of dedication to craft, investment in equipment, and development of artistic vision that distinguished my work from generic wedding documentation. But despite my professional success and the fact that I had literally built my career around creating beautiful wedding content, my family had consistently treated my work as less impressive than Britney's Instagram following and social media influencer brand that generated income through sponsored posts and product placements. Harper makes wedding videos, Linda would explain dismissively when relatives asked about my career. But Britney is building a real brand with her Instagram content and influencer partnerships that create multiple revenue streams. The characterization of my videography career as just making wedding videos, while treating Britney's social media posts as sophisticated business, revealed my family's fundamental misunderstanding of both industries and their prioritization of appearance over substance. Britney's influencer career had begun during college when she started posting lifestyle content that emphasized aesthetic perfection, carefully curated imagery, and the projection of an idealized life that attracted followers seeking aspirational content and entertainment. Social media success requires consistent content creation and understanding what audiences want to see, Britney would explain when discussing her influencer strategy. And I've built my brand around showing people the perfect lifestyle they aspire to achieve. The perfect lifestyle that Britney's content portrayed was heavily edited, carefully staged, and strategically designed to present an image that bore little resemblance to her actual daily life, but that generated engagement and sponsorship opportunities from brands seeking to reach her follower demographic. Britney's Instagram has 380,000 followers, Linda would announce proudly to relatives, and companies pay her thousands of dollars for a single post featuring their products because her aesthetic is so appealing to her audience. So, the pride Linda took in Britney's follower count and sponsored content stood in stark contrast to her dismissive attitude toward my videography work, despite the fact that my career involved substantially more skill, generated higher income, and created lasting artistic value beyond temporary social media posts. But more painful than Linda's dismissal of my professional success was the way my family treated my introverted personality and preference for authentic interactions over performative social behavior as an embarrassing character flaw that needed to be hidden or managed during family events. "Harper's so awkward at parties," Britney would complain to Linda. "She doesn't know how to work a room or make small talk with people, and it's embarrassing when she just stands in the corner looking uncomfortable." The characterization of my introverted nature as awkward, rather than simply a different personality style, revealed my family's belief that extroverted performance was superior to quieter, more reflective approaches to social interaction. "You need to try harder to fit in during family gatherings," Linda would lecture me. "Britney knows how to engage with people and make them feel comfortable, but you make everyone feel awkward with your silence and social discomfort." The expectation that I should perform extroverted behavior that didn't match my natural personality style was particularly frustrating because it positioned my authentic self as deficient rather than simply different from Britney's more performative approach to social situations. The differential treatment extended to how my family discussed our respective achievements, with Britney's social media milestones being celebrated while my professional accomplishments were barely acknowledged, or quickly redirected to discussions about Britney's latest Instagram success. "Britney just hit 400,000 followers," Linda would announce at family dinners. "She's becoming a real influencer with brands competing to work with her." But when I mentioned filming a celebrity wedding or receiving industry recognition for my cinematography work, Linda would respond with brief acknowledgement before changing the subject or comparing my success unfavorably to Britney's social media metrics. "That's nice, Harper," Linda would say dismissively. "But Britney's influence reaches hundreds of thousands of people instantly through social media, while your videos are only seen by the couple and their families." The comparison revealed Linda's fundamental misunderstanding of both industries and her prioritization of quantitative metrics over qualitative impact, measuring success by follower counts rather than artistic excellence or professional respect. Have you ever spent a decade building professional success, only to have your family treat it as less impressive than your siblings' social media presence? That's exactly what I had experienced throughout my career. But I never imagined that my family's prioritization of Britney's aesthetic over my presence would result in being uninvited from her wedding. The conversation that would reveal just how little my family valued me compared to Britney's social media image was approaching, and their willingness to exclude me from a major family event would expose priorities that justified the response I was about to create. The devastating conversation that would permanently alter my relationship with my family began 6 months before Britney's planned wedding, when Linda called me to discuss what she characterized as a sensitive situation that required my understanding and cooperation for the sake of Britney's special day. "Harper, we need to talk about Britney's wedding," Linda began with the careful tone she used when she was about to make a request she knew I would find objectionable. "And I need you to understand that this is about making her day perfect rather than about our feelings toward you personally." The preamble suggesting that whatever she was about to say wasn't personal immediately triggered my concern, because statements that claim something isn't personal usually precede deeply personal rejections or criticisms that the speaker wants to avoid taking responsibility for. "Britney's wedding is going to be a major content opportunity for her brand," Linda continued. "She has influencer guests attending and professional photographers documenting everything for her Instagram and potential magazine features. The emphasis on content opportunity rather than emotional celebration revealed how Britney and Linda viewed the wedding primarily as a business event designed to generate social media content rather than as a meaningful family milestone. "The wedding aesthetic is very important," Linda explained. "Everything from the color palette to the guest list has been carefully curated to create a specific visual style that will resonate with Britney's followers and attract brand partnership opportunities." The characterization of wedding guest selection as part of curating a visual style was beginning to suggest where this conversation was heading, and I felt my stomach tightening with anticipation of the rejection I was about to hear. "We've been discussing who should attend," Linda said carefully. "And we think it would be better if you skip the wedding because your presence might make things awkward for Britney and her influencer guests." The casual way she suggested I should skip my own sister's wedding because my presence would be awkward was so shocking that I initially thought I had misheard or misunderstood what she was actually saying. "You want me to skip Britney's wedding?" I asked, making sure I had correctly understood what Linda was proposing. "My own sister's wedding? It's not that we don't love you," Linda replied with the patronizing tone she used when she wanted to minimize the impact of hurtful decisions. "But you're not comfortable at social events, and Britney is worried that your awkwardness will be visible in the photos and videos." The characterization of my introverted personality as awkwardness that would ruin photographs revealed how my family perceived my natural temperament as a defect rather than simply a different approach to social interaction. "Britney's wedding is going to be documented extensively," Linda continued, "and she doesn't want family members who aren't photogenic or socially comfortable in the content that will represent this major milestone in her life and career." The suggestion that I wasn't photogenic enough to appear in my sister's wedding photos was particularly painful, especially coming from a mother who should have been defending my right to participate in family celebrations rather than supporting my exclusion. "This is about creating the right vibe," Linda explained. "And introverted people who don't enjoy parties can make other guests uncomfortable and negatively affect the energy that Britney is trying to create for her content." The characterization of my personality as something that would negatively affect the energy revealed how thoroughly my family had internalized social media values that prioritized performance over genuine human connection. What about the fact that I'm a professional wedding videographer? I asked, still struggling to process that my own family found me so embarrassing that they wanted me to miss my sister's wedding. I've filmed over 200 weddings, including several with celebrities and influencers. That's exactly why we thought you'd understand, Linda replied, apparently believing that my professional experience should make me more willing to accept exclusion. You know how important aesthetics and energy are for wedding content, and you'd agree that your presence doesn't match what Brittany is trying to achieve. The twisted logic that my professional understanding of weddings should make me accept being uninvited revealed how disconnected Linda was from recognizing how hurtful this rejection actually was. Brittany specifically asked that you not attend, Linda added, apparently believing that revealing my sister's direct involvement in my exclusion would somehow make the situation more acceptable. She's concerned that having you there would make her influencer friends uncomfortable and would create awkward moments in her wedding content. The revelation that Brittany had explicitly requested my exclusion was more painful than if Linda had made the decision independently, because it meant my own sister found me so embarrassing that she preferred I miss her wedding entirely. This is temporary, Linda tried to reassure me. Once the wedding is over and the content is posted, we can have a family dinner where everyone is included. This is just about the wedding day itself, needing to maintain a specific aesthetic and energy. The suggestion that my exclusion from the wedding was acceptable because we could have dinner together afterward revealed Linda's complete failure to understand the significance of missing a sibling's wedding or the lasting impact of such deliberate rejection. So I'm uninvited from Brittany's wedding because I'm too awkward? I summarized, wanting to make sure I had understood the magnitude of what my family was saying. We're not uninviting you, Linda corrected. We're asking you to voluntarily skip the wedding for Brittany's sake, because you love your sister and want her special day to be perfect. The reframing of deliberate exclusion as voluntary skipping and the appeal to my love for Brittany was manipulation designed to make me complicit in my own rejection, while avoiding taking responsibility for the hurtful decision. I'm not skipping Brittany's wedding, I said firmly. If she doesn't want me there, she needs to tell me that directly rather than having you deliver the message. The demand for direct communication apparently created a problem, because Linda's silence suggested that Brittany had been hoping to exclude me without having to confront me directly about her decision. Harper, please don't make this harder than it needs to be, Linda said with frustration. Brittany is stressed about her wedding and doesn't need family drama interfering with her planning and content strategy. The characterization of my resistance to exclusion as family drama, while treating Brittany's demand that I skip her wedding as reasonable, revealed the twisted values that had shaped my family's priorities. But what my family didn't understand was that their decision to exclude me for being too awkward for Brittany's influencer wedding had just motivated me to show them what authentic wedding content actually looks like, when created by a professional who values genuine emotion over staged performances. Have you ever been told you're too awkward to attend your own sister's wedding because your presence might ruin her social media aesthetic? The pain of that rejection was transforming into determination to create wedding content so stunning and authentic that it would completely overshadow Brittany's carefully curated influencer performance. But first, I would need to smile through their rejection and plan my response in secret, because the best revenge would be showing them what real wedding cinematography looked like when compared to their amateur influencer content. The decision to accept my family's exclusion without public confrontation, while secretly planning my own response, required enormous emotional discipline. But I understood that arguing about being uninvited would only give them ammunition to characterize me as dramatic or difficult rather than acknowledging their cruel rejection. Fine, I said to Linda with forced calm. If Brittany doesn't want me at her wedding, I won't attend. The easy acceptance apparently surprised Linda, who had been prepared for more resistance or emotional reaction that she could then use to justify my exclusion as evidence of my inability to handle social situations appropriately. I'm glad you understand, Linda said with obvious relief. This is really for the best, and Brittany will appreciate that you're being mature about this situation. The characterization of my acceptance as being mature, while treating my exclusion from my sister's wedding as reasonable, revealed Linda's complete failure to recognize how inappropriate their decision actually was. But what Linda didn't know was that my calm acceptance was strategic rather than genuine, because I was already planning how to use my professional skills and industry connections to create wedding content that would make Britney's influencer ceremony look amateur and forgettable by comparison. The months leading up to Britney's wedding were difficult. Watching social media posts about dress shopping, venue selection, and wedding planning, while knowing I had been deliberately excluded from participating in or even attending the celebration. Britney's wedding planning is going so well, Linda would mention during our occasional phone conversations, apparently oblivious to how painful these updates were given that I had been uninvited from the event she was describing. The wedding industry contacts who knew about my family situation were universally horrified that I had been excluded from my sister's wedding because my personality didn't match her desired aesthetic. "That's one of the cruelest things I've heard," my colleague Jennifer Palmer said when I explained why I wouldn't be attending my sister's wedding. Excluding family members because they're not photogenic or extroverted enough for social media content is absolutely toxic. The validation from wedding industry professionals who understood both family dynamics and social media culture helped me recognize that my family's decision was objectively unreasonable rather than a justified response to legitimate concerns about my behavior. But the most important development during this period was my decision to plan my own wedding, which I had been considering but had postponed, because I hadn't wanted to overshadow Britney's engagement or wedding planning. My partner Ryan Mitchell and I had been together for 4 years, and we had discussed marriage multiple times, but had never felt urgent pressure to formalize our relationship through a ceremony that neither of us particularly wanted or needed. "Maybe we should get married," I said to Ryan one evening while explaining the latest update about Britney's wedding planning that I wouldn't be attending. "And we could create the kind of wedding content that shows what authentic celebration actually looks like." Ryan understood immediately what I was proposing. Not a wedding motivated by revenge, but a genuine celebration that would happen to be documented with the same professional quality and emotional authenticity that had established my reputation, creating content that would inevitably be compared to Britney's influencer performance. "I love the idea of getting married," Ryan said, "and I especially love the idea of showing your family what a real wedding looks like when it's about genuine emotion rather than social media aesthetics." The wedding planning that followed was both personally meaningful and strategically designed to showcase everything that distinguished authentic celebrations from performative influencer content that prioritized appearance over substance. The venue we selected was a stunning coastal location with dramatic sunset views, chosen not because it would photograph well, but because it held personal significance as the place where Ryan had first told me he loved me during a weekend getaway early in our relationship. "This location tells your actual story," our wedding planner observed, rather than just providing a pretty background for generic photos that could have been taken anywhere. The guest list included close friends, family members who had supported our relationship, and several of the celebrity clients whose weddings I had filmed, and who had become genuine friends rather than just professional contacts. "I'd be honored to attend your wedding," said actress Emma Stone, whose wedding I had filmed 2 years earlier, "and I'm looking forward to seeing how you document your own celebration." The presence of genuine celebrity guests who were attending because of authentic relationships rather than influencer networking opportunities would create exactly the kind of contrast with Britney's carefully curated guest list that would make the comparison between our weddings obvious to anyone who saw both events. But the most important element of our wedding planning was the decision about how to document the celebration, because my professional videography would need to showcase the emotional authenticity and cinematic excellence that distinguished my work from generic influencer content. "We're hiring 3 additional cinematographers to help film your wedding," my business partner Marcus informed me, "because you deserve to have your own celebration documented with the same quality that you provide for clients." The collaborative filming approach would create multiple camera angles, cinematic coverage, and comprehensive documentation that would result in a wedding video representing the pinnacle of my professional capabilities and artistic vision. Have you ever planned your own wedding partly as a genuine celebration and partly as a professional statement, that would demonstrate your expertise while implicitly critiquing your family's values? The combination of personal meaning and strategic purpose was creating exactly the kind of authentic content that would make Britney's staged influencer wedding look hollow by comparison. But I would need to wait until after Britney's wedding to reveal my own celebration, ensuring that the comparison between authentic emotion and performative content would be unmistakable to anyone who saw both events. The strategic timing of revealing my wedding required patience and discipline, because I needed to let Britney's influencer wedding content circulate and be forgotten before introducing my own documentation that would demonstrate what professional wedding videography actually achieves when combined with genuine emotional celebration. Britney's wedding occurred on schedule in late September, with extensive social media coverage showing exactly the kind of carefully curated aesthetic content that I had apparently been too awkward to be included in creating. "Perfect day marrying my best friend," Britney's Instagram caption read beneath photos showing staged moments, color-coordinated guest outfits, and the carefully designed aesthetic that had been more important than including her own sister in the celebration. The wedding content Britney posted showed professional photography and generic videography that captured the visual beauty of the event, but lacked the emotional depth and cinematic storytelling that distinguished truly excellent wedding documentation from pretty but forgettable content. "Britney's wedding looks beautiful," Linda called to tell me, apparently expecting me to congratulate my sister on her successful influencer content. Despite having been deliberately excluded from the celebration, the photos are getting so much engagement, and several brands have already reached out about potential partnerships. The emphasis on social media metrics rather than emotional significance revealed how thoroughly my family had internalized values that measured wedding success by engagement rates, rather than meaningful celebration or family connection. But while Britney's wedding content was generating temporary social media attention, I was finalizing the edit of my own wedding video that would showcase what authentic celebration and professional cinematography could achieve when combined with genuine emotion and artistic excellence. My wedding to Ryan had occurred 4 weeks after Britney's celebration, at our meaningful coastal location with sunset timing that created naturally stunning lighting for the cinematic coverage my colleagues were capturing. The ceremony had been intimate and emotionally powerful, with vows that reflected our actual relationship, rather than generic promises that sounded good for social media content, and the presence of celebrity guests who were genuinely celebrating rather than performing for cameras created authentic interactions that elevated the entire event. "This is one of the most beautiful weddings I've attended," Emma Stone had said during the reception, "because everything feels real and meaningful rather than staged for content creation." The video edit that my team and I had been working on for the following weeks represented the absolute pinnacle of my professional capabilities, combining cinematic drone footage, intimate emotional moments, celebrity guest interactions, and the stunning natural beauty of the location into a narrative that told our actual love story rather than creating generic wedding highlight reels. "This is your best work," Marcus said when reviewing the final edit. "The cinematography is stunning, the emotional narrative is powerful, and the celebrity moments add legitimacy without overshadowing the genuine celebration." The decision about when and how to release the video required strategic thinking, because I wanted maximum impact while avoiding accusations that I was deliberately competing with Britney's wedding content. 8 weeks after Britney's wedding, when her influencer content had mostly stopped generating engagement and had been buried under subsequent posts in her followers' feeds, I uploaded my wedding video with a simple caption that emphasized authenticity over performance. "Celebrating love with the people who matter most." My caption read beneath the video thumbnail showing Ryan and me during our sunset ceremony, "Grateful for genuine moments and authentic relationships." The video's impact was immediate and overwhelming, beginning with celebrity friends who shared the content with their millions of followers, creating viral spread that my professional work had never previously achieved, despite years of creating excellent wedding content. "Congratulations to my friend Harper on her beautiful wedding," Emma Stone posted while sharing my video. "This is what authentic celebration looks like when documented by one of the best wedding cinematographers in the industry." The celebrity endorsements created immediate visibility that attracted wedding industry professionals, brides planning their own celebrations, and audiences fascinated by seeing genuinely emotional wedding content, rather than the staged influencer performances that had become ubiquitous on social media. Within 24 hours, my wedding video had generated 10 million views as it spread across multiple social media platforms, with comments praising the cinematic quality, emotional authenticity, and the presence of celebrity guests who were genuinely celebrating rather than performing for cameras. This wedding video shows the difference between authentic cinematography and generic influencer content. One viral comment read, "The emotions are real, the cinematography is stunning." And you can tell this was about celebrating love rather than creating social media content. The comparison to generic influencer content was being made explicitly by thousands of commenters who were drawing direct contrasts between my professional wedding documentation and the kind of staged performances that characterized influencer weddings like Britney's. "I just watched another influencer wedding video and then saw this," another popular comment stated, "and the difference in quality and authenticity is shocking." This is what wedding videography should be. Have you ever watched your own wedding content go viral while implicitly demonstrating everything that was wrong with your sister's influencer wedding that you were too awkward to attend? The satisfaction of seeing my authentic approach succeed beyond anything Britney's staged performance achieved was exceeded only by knowing that my family was watching this comparison happen in real time. But the long-term consequences of my video's viral success would extend far beyond just social media metrics, transforming my career while permanently exposing my family's misguided priorities and cruel rejection. The permanent transformation of both my professional career and my family relationships was completed through the overwhelming success of my wedding video and the industry recognition that followed, creating opportunities and validation that exceeded anything I had achieved during my previous decade of excellent but less visible work. The immediate impact of the video's viral spread was an avalanche of inquiries from couples seeking wedding videography services, with potential clients specifically mentioning my video's emotional authenticity and cinematic excellence as reasons they wanted me to document their celebrations. "Your wedding video showed exactly what we want for our own documentation," dozens of inquiry emails stated. Authentic emotion combined with stunning cinematography rather than generic highlight reels that all look the same. The client inquiries included international couples planning destination weddings, celebrity clients whose friends had shared my video, and luxury market couples who were willing to pay premium rates for videography that matched the quality and emotional depth my video had demonstrated. Harper's wedding video has generated more inquiries for our company than any marketing campaign we've ever created, my business partner Marcus reported, and the clients reaching out have budgets and expectations that match our highest-tier service offerings. The business impact meant that my decision to document my own wedding with professional excellence had not only provided personal satisfaction, but had also created substantial commercial opportunities that would benefit my company and colleagues for years. But beyond just business opportunities, the video's success had generated recognition from wedding industry organizations and professional cinematographers who celebrated the authentic storytelling and technical excellence that distinguished my work from generic wedding documentation. Harper-Davidson's wedding video represents the gold standard for emotional authenticity in wedding cinematography, a prestigious wedding industry publication wrote, combining cinematic technique with genuine storytelling in ways that elevate the entire industry. The professional recognition included award nominations, speaking invitations at industry conferences, and requests to teach workshops about authentic wedding videography that would spread my approach to documenting celebrations throughout the professional community. "Your video is being used as a teaching example in film schools," my former professor called to tell me, showing students how documentary techniques and cinematic excellence can combine to create wedding content that transcends the limitations of traditional ceremony documentation. The educational impact meant that my approach to wedding videography would influence future cinematographers who were learning how to document celebrations with authenticity and artistry rather than just capturing pretty footage without emotional depth. Meanwhile, Britney's reaction to my video's viral success revealed the insecurity and competitiveness that had always characterized her relationship with my achievements, as she watched her carefully curated influencer wedding being overshadowed and forgotten while my authentic celebration generated millions of views and widespread praise. "Harper's wedding video is getting so much attention," Linda called to say, her tone mixing pride with obvious discomfort about the comparison being drawn between my success and Britney's performance. "Everyone is talking about the celebrity guests and the beautiful cinematography." The emphasis on celebrity guests rather than emotional authenticity revealed that Linda still didn't fully understand what actually made my video successful, focusing on superficial elements rather than the genuine storytelling that distinguished my work from Britney's staged content. "Britney is having a hard time with all the attention your wedding is getting," Linda continued, apparently expecting me to feel sorry for my sister who had explicitly excluded me from her wedding because I was too awkward for her aesthetic. "She worked so hard on her wedding content, and now everyone is comparing it unfavorably to your video." The expectation that I should somehow minimize my success or feel guilty about the comparison revealed Linda's continuing failure to recognize how inappropriate Britney's exclusion of me had been, or how that rejection had motivated me to demonstrate the difference between authentic and performative content. "People are saying Britney's wedding looks generic and staged compared to yours," Linda said, "and she's losing followers because they're disappointed that her actual wedding didn't match the aesthetic authenticity they saw in your video." The revelation that Britney was facing professional consequences from the comparison was particularly satisfying, because it meant that her decision to prioritize aesthetic performance over family inclusion had backfired by making her own content look hollow and inauthentic when contrasted with genuine celebration. "Maybe you could post something supportive about Britney's wedding," Linda suggested, to help counteract the negative comparisons people are making between your video and her content. The audacity of asking me to publicly support the wedding I had been excluded from attending, because I was too awkward for Britney's aesthetic, revealed that Linda still expected me to prioritize Britney's comfort over my own dignity and professional success. "I'm not going to do that," I replied calmly. "Britney chose to exclude me from her wedding because she thought my presence would be awkward, and now she's dealing with the natural consequences of prioritizing performance over authenticity." The direct reference to my exclusion apparently made Linda uncomfortable, because she quickly tried to reframe the situation as a misunderstanding rather than acknowledging the deliberate rejection that had occurred. "We never meant to make you feel excluded," Linda claimed. "We just thought you would be more comfortable not attending because you don't enjoy big social events." The attempt to recharacterize my uninvitation as concern for my comfort, rather than acknowledging Britney's aesthetic priorities, revealed Linda's inability to take responsibility for the hurtful decision she and Britney had made. "You explicitly told me to skip the wedding because I would make it awkward," I reminded her, "and Britney specifically requested that I not attend because my presence didn't match her desired aesthetic." The factual summary of what had actually been said apparently made it impossible for Linda to maintain her revisionist narrative, because she fell silent before attempting a different approach to reconciliation. "I always knew you were talented," Linda said, "and I'm proud that your wedding video is getting so much recognition." The claim that she had always known I was talented while having consistently dismissed my videography career as less impressive than Britney's Instagram following revealed the opportunistic nature of her sudden pride in my success. "You told me my career was less impressive than Britney's influencer brand," I reminded her, "and you supported my exclusion from her wedding because my awkward presence would ruin her aesthetic." The confrontation with my family's actual behavior, rather than their current revisionist claims, was creating exactly the kind of accountability that their rejection had deserved, forcing Linda to acknowledge the favoritism and cruelty that had characterized their treatment of me. 2 years after my wedding video's viral success, my career had evolved beyond anything I had imagined possible during my previous decade of excellent but less visible work. While Britney's influencer brand had stagnated as audiences increasingly valued authentic content over carefully staged performances. "Your wedding video changed how couples think about wedding documentation," wedding industry analysts noted, creating market demand for authentic storytelling over generic highlight reels that dominated the industry before your video demonstrated what cinematic wedding videography could actually achieve. The industry transformation meant that my video had not only benefited my own career, but had elevated expectations for the entire wedding videography profession, improving outcomes for both cinematographers and couples seeking meaningful documentation of their celebrations. My relationship with my family remained distant but cordial, with occasional contact that acknowledged our shared history while maintaining boundaries that prevented them from exploiting my success or expecting me to forget their rejection. "I understand now that excluding you from the wedding was wrong," Brittany admitted during a rare conversation, "and I regret prioritizing my influencer aesthetic over having my sister present at my wedding." The belated acknowledgement was appreciated but insufficient to restore the sisterly relationship that her rejection had permanently damaged, because some betrayals reveal character in ways that make genuine reconciliation impossible. Have you ever been excluded from a major family event for being too awkward, only to watch your authentic approach succeed beyond anything their staged performance achieved? Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply demonstrating through your own success that genuine emotion and professional excellence will always triumph over carefully curated performances designed for social media metrics. The viral success of my wedding video, the career transformation it generated, and the industry recognition it produced created exactly the outcome that authentic work deserves: validation, opportunity, and lasting impact that exceeded anything temporary social media engagement could provide. If this story resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button and share your experiences in the comments below. Remember that people who exclude you for being awkward or authentic will watch helplessly as your genuine approach succeeds far beyond their carefully staged performances. See you in our next story here on Her Sweet Revenge.